Hello and welcome to the TOA16 studio. My name is Derk Marseille, head of media at totem.co. I'm here with Philipp Kreibohm. He's the managing director of Home24.
Thank you.
You were here on stage just before entering the studio. You talked about learnings. Could you give us an example?
Yeah, I think the business is now about 6 years old. And in this course of scaling, there were really lots of learnings from being a super tiny, small startup to now having a business with more than 200 million in sales and more than 1,000 people. And so learnings, I think first of all, you have to go your way as a founder, as an entrepreneur. Many things that you can do right, but that you can also do wrong. Basing your decisions on data, but also following your gut feeling is super important. Trusting people, building a great culture in the business. Those are learnings where I think those are most important to us.
And could you name an example of what you did expect, for example, when it came to analyzing the data and following your gut feeling, and you thought afterwards, better I'd follow the data than my gut feeling?
Yeah, on those, I think there are also a couple of things that we didn't do wrong, but that we did right. Yeah, so. First of all, we saw that there were super many people looking for furniture items on Google. Yeah, there were about 60,000 search requests per day just on Google, just in Germany, just for sofas on one day. Yeah, so we thought let's just build an assortment that is creating an offering to reflect on that demand. Gut feeling, I think. Also, it's been that if this model has worked, selling furniture online. If this model has worked in other verticals, like in shoes, like in fashion, like in electronics, like in many other markets, it's also probably going to be working in furniture. And I think that did work out. On the other hand, mistakes you do and that we did, and of course you would do things better today, was in the course of scaling, you make mistakes in operations, in processes, in systems. When you grow too fast, you lose your culture. So those are the things that you try over time to rectify and try to do a better job.
So I guess that over the last 6 years, like e-commerce platforms have changed dramatically, like from a technical point of view, but also how you enter the market, what kind of solutions you offer the customer. Could you give us like the biggest change, the biggest shift that you've seen over the last 6 years?
Yeah, I think probably the biggest shift is in channels. So when we started out, there was no shopping on mobile phones, and now, again, we're selling heavy and bulky furniture. There's about 40% of our traffic coming from mobile devices, and I think that's scary. Our basket sizes are higher on mobile devices compared to desktop, and it's really a super rapid shift in customer behavior. Moving from desktop applications or desktop shopping to mobile. And in the course of this, there's got super many opportunities to engage customers, to build an ecosystem where there's personalization, where there's recommendation solutions, where you're kind of curating the assortment, personalized for your respective customers. And so I think those are the biggest trends that we've seen over the last years in this. Sleepy home and living market.
Yeah, of course, I know you won't tell me all of the secrets, but could you at least give me one example of how you get the customer into the app every day? Because there needs to be a reason why they go into the app. Yeah. How do you do that?
Yeah, sure. To engage the customer, it's the secret recipe of running great apps. One of the things that I'm quite proud of is, our app won the 2015 Apple Award for being one of the best e-commerce apps, or being one of the best apps in the App Store. And so I think that shows that the general design and the style and the engagement that we kind of create in the app really works well with Home24. But then also it's an assortment issue. Not everybody will buy a sofa every day. Not everybody will buy, when you buy a sofa today, you won't necessarily buy a wardrobe tomorrow. So it's more about smaller accessories. It's about a candle. It's about tabletop items. It's about cutlery. It's many smaller things that are also necessary in the household that you use to equip and to furnish your home, but that are not necessarily the bulge bracket things. And so we've more and more focused in mobile also on those smaller categories.
Yeah. And how did you manage your investors over this period of time? Because you see different channels popping up. Yeah. Everybody is inexperienced, is just starting out. So what do you tell investors in such a period of time?
I think for investors, it's super important for them to understand, what's the clear, I wouldn't say vision, but like the clear roadmap of the business. And to lay out that, we're tackling a very, very large market with a very clear approach, with a very clear roadmap, and doing our steps not, in one day building Rome, but rather doing small, but, very, very consecutive steps in following our road. And to make that sure and to show constant progress in what we do, I think it's been the main triggers.
Yeah, but how do you then measure progress sometimes? But it can not always be over transactions or over market size. But
it's KPIs. Obviously, I mean, you grow revenue. You increase profitability over time. You increase customer happiness. You make.
How do you measure that? Because that seems to be in content and commerce when you talk about, and that seems to be like the biggest issue.
Yeah, of course. There's measures like NPS, and that, of course you measure NPS. You measure NPS in every kind of way that
even there are sometimes problems to really know if a customer is happy, right?
Oh yes. Well, then we talk to customers. Obviously, there's many ways for us to interact with our customers. There's chat applications. There's customer service. There's email. There's we have showrooms. We've acquired a business called Fashion for Home last year, who have some offline showrooms. So we have the opportunity to speak with our customers. So there's like tremendous opportunity to get feedback via Facebook, via all kinds of other social channels to get customer feedback, to get specific customer feedback. So to understand and learn, what are we doing right, what are we doing wrong, and to improve.
Yeah. So this is of course a huge operations business. Yeah. I mean, you must love operations, otherwise you have no fun at Home24. Yeah. So how do you keep the spirit alive every day within the company?
I think it's super important for everybody in the business to understand, where are we going and what are we doing and why are we doing this? And to always keep in mind, there is nobody out there, now as large as we are in, tackling that market and disrupting that market. There used to be a very fragmented landscape of brick and mortar stores located outside of the cities, where it's very cumbersome for customers to drive out on Saturdays, to go out there, to have, bad advice from, badly paid sales agents, and that's not a great customer experience. And to find a solution for bringing great assortment at great prices in very short delivery times to our customers, and to make a better and better job for the people that are paying us to do what we do. It's our customers every day. I think that's what everybody has in mind and understands, and so that's also why everybody is on fire.
Yeah. TOA is an interdisciplinary festival. As the MD of Home24, living in Berlin, doing business here out of Berlin, do you even have time to enjoy science, art, the music scenes? Do you keep an eye on that, or?
It's a good question. Yes and no, I would say. I mean, I moved to Berlin in '96, so I've been around for some time. When I moved here, I was a student, and obviously the wall had come down. Berlin was about to become a capital of Germany, which was then also at the time was in Bonn. So I kind of love that kind of spirit, with a lot of history in the city, with political life coming to the town again, happily in a peaceful environment, and the art scene, spreading across the city, with lots of small arts, with lots of grown-up arts. Appreciate it when I get the time to do it. Sometimes, it's not always. I'd love to do more, but it's a fantastic city to live and work.
Could you also share some of your experiences on TOA just now? What's your impression?
I think it's very diverse, and there was the 2 rules of engagement for me when the TOA guys asked me to join here. Was that, Philipp, there's 2 things you cannot do. One thing, you cannot talk about tech. Oh, I said, that's difficult as a tech company, but I'll try to find a way. And the second thing I couldn't do was, you can't give a company presentation. So I really need to think about, what am I going to do? And I said, okay, maybe let's talk about experiences and mistakes that we've done. So there have been a few. But then, very diverse. Before me, there was Matthias Döpfner laying out, this huge transformation the Springer Group is going through, which is really a fantastic example of seeing like a former dinosaur, moving into the tech space, moving into the digital age. After me, there's Daniel Barenboim coming on stage with some fantastic, arts-driven presentation. So very, very diverse. There's a lot of tech talk, which I personally think is fantastic to also create Berlin as a hub more into a tech hub. Really cool conference here.
Thank you for joining us here at TOA16.